Food video!
Mini cooks! Shrimp curry. Just peeled all the shrimp.
Hey,
Added
clean and devein the shrimp. Peel, rinse off till the water is clear. Squeeze out the water, or put it in the colander, and put it in a clean bowl. Sprinkle a little bit of salt, a little bit of turmeric, just for color, and a little bit of chili powder.
No. Oh yeah, yeah, that's it.
A little bit of chili powder.
Yeah. Cayenne.
Mm-hmm.
Cayenne pepper, not chili powder. Chili powder is something else.
Yeah, we call it pepper. Cayenne pepper, and a little bit of black pepper. And a little bit of garlic powder.
Oh, it's here. Hold on, hold this. Oh,
my hands are burning. A little bit of garlic powder. Yeah. And then marinate it. And leave it. And it's all up to your taste, because I usually put a little bit more chili, the cayenne pepper. But if you don't like it really that spicy, then you don't have to. But the first marination is important because it'll get into it by the time you saute the onions and ginger and garlic and all that. So I do put both times. See, I put it into the onions too. But this one gives it a little bit of flavor.
how long to marinate?
Usually never more, seafood especially, never more than 10-15 minutes, because the salt kind of cooks the seafood. So you don't want to... So it's only just the time when you saute.
Okay.
But if you're putting in the fridge and you don't have time to cook, try to add less salt when you add the salt. But you can put the
Okay,
spice.
what are you doing now?
Okay, I'm chopping diced onions in very small cubes. If you have 2-pound bags of shrimp, you need at least 3 onions, 3 good sized. Because onions kind of makes the gravy. At least 2 for sure. So I'm going to add some oil. Fairly good amount of oil so it can caramelize the onions.
On low heat?
Medium heat. It should sizzle, but I guess the pan was not hot.
Okay, so right now we have 3 onions in there. Well, right now all that's in there is oil and onions. Canola oil and onions.
Yeah.
Turn the heat to about medium heat. And now we're peeling some ginger.
The easiest way to peel a ginger is to use a teaspoon. Hold it with your thumb, the ginger, and you scrape it so you can get into all the nooks and crannies of the tan skin. So once you keep peeling, you'll see the light yellow flush. So once all the outside skin is all gone and the clear yellow shows up, then you can slice it thin and then chop it into cubes. Or you can even grind with a little bit of salt and water and also use it, which creates more gravy than chopped. Or you can put half and half, so you bite a little bit of ginger and then the rest is in the puree state. Cloves of garlic. Yeah. A few cloves of garlic, 2 big slices of ginger, and then you add a little bit of salt and a little bit of vinegar.
Vinegar? Yeah. It's under there in a huge tub. Behind the oil. What's the vinegar for?
So it doesn't turn brown. The garlic otherwise turns a little bit bitter. Just a little. It's a kind of a preservative. So
that's a lot.
No, it's not. Put that much. And you just grind it. I did add the salt, right?
Yeah.
And then you grind it, and that keeps in the fridge for at least a good week. So you can always
Okay. So the ginger has been ground.
ginger and garlic together.
Ginger, garlic, salt, vinegar. Still, there's 3 onions here. Nothing but onions and oil. In here, there's also some chopped
Three pods of garlic and one inch slice of ginger, minced really fine, and one serrano chili sliced fine.
Not serrano chili.
I mean green, spicy chili, green chili.
Usually called Thai green chilies.
Yeah.
They
All
look
right.
like this. This size.
Yeah, one is enough unless you want it really spicy.
Okay, now what?
You still need, see now the color is just starting to change, but it needs a little bit more, tad bit more. At this point, you add the, what is it, 1 and 2 tablespoon of the ground, and then you start mixing it again till the color starts changing again, and in 5 minutes you can add the chopped. So after you add the ginger and garlic paste, give it a few minutes, and then you add the chopped portion of the same ginger, garlic, and the green chili, the Thai chili. Then you mix it again. Still hasn't reached the right color, so you just keep going. As the oil absorbs, you add a little bit more, and just keep stirring till you reach the right color.
How long do you think from the start of browning the onions till the right color?
Good half hour, I would say, till the very end, before you add all the masalas, which we haven't added any yet.
No.
So I'm going to add a fresh chopped tomato into small pieces.
1 tomato.
1 tomato. If it's really ripe, it helps if you can just put it into boiling water for a couple of minutes and then peel off the skin. And then chop it up so it break down into the onion a little faster. But this was not fully ripe, so.
If it's underripe, you don't do that?
I mean, there's no point in doing that. It doesn't really help to. So now, at this point, if you add a little bit of salt, it helps to break down the tomato, and it becomes more saucier. Again, the color hasn't come yet. So a little patience.
So we turned it up a little bit now.
Yeah.
But
So
no spices yet. Here comes the spices.
now we're going to add the ground coriander,
Hold into the light.
turmeric powder, cayenne pepper, at least a good spoon, and a little bit of crushed ground black pepper. So you add the coriander first. Give it a minute. Add the chili and then the rest of it. And the chili powder, the cayenne pepper, you can adjust according to your taste. If you like it really spicy, you can add another spoon to it. So if you're doing it for the first time, you may want to start with 1 spoon per pound to see how you like it. And then once you add the powders, you might notice that the oil absorbs really fast. So give it a minute or so. If the oil doesn't ooze back, then you can add a little bit more. So now you can see it's starting to get a good red color and then the tomatoes all broken down to a paste almost. So now the 6 minutes is gone. It's starting to caramelize really well. So now you add.
Wait, show the can.
Like tomato sauce or tomato puree, one of those. And then you cup about a measure, a cup, depending on how much sauce you want. If you want it thicker, you can add less. So I add 1 cup of tomato sauce into this one. And then again, it has to all absorb into the oil, and it becomes really, see now it's too saucy, so it has to come down a little bit. Take the raw tomato taste off. And at this point, you can add a little bit of salt to adjust, and then let it go. And When you see the oils oozing out of the bubbles, see that oil spurting out of the bubbles?
Yeah.
That is the sign to add the shrimp. And then you want to increase the temperature a little bit before you add the shrimp, so you can saute the shrimp a little bit in the sauce before you slow the temperature down. So let it go in high for a few minutes, and so that all the shrimp can be incorporated into the masala really well.
Yeah.
So, now the shrimp is starting to get opaque and it's starting to came up to the temperature. So now you dip it down to very slow, about, I would say, between 3 and 4. And then now you just leave it alone, cover it for a few minutes so the natural juices can come out. It's about 15 minutes since we closed the lid.
Maybe 10, actually.
Okay, so now we're going to open to see what stage it is.
Whoa, that's a lot of water that came out.
Yeah, so as you see, there's a lot of natural juices which has come out, and it's created a beautiful red sauce. That's what we want to see. But again, if you see, the oil hasn't started floating. So at this point, what you do is just increase a little bit of the heat and then keep it open. The shrimp is already cooked. The shrimp needs very little cooking. So this would be a good time actually to test for salt, spices, and all that. And then if you want more gravy, like if you're using it for like prada or chapati or something, and if you want more gravy, at this point you can check and see if it's not too sour. You can add a little bit more of the tomato sauce, but then you need to cook it down a little bit more. I feel like in consistency wise, this gravy quantity is very good. So you just few more minutes and the oil starts floating, and you can just check for all the salt. I think it needs a little bit more salt, so I'm just going to add a dash more salt. And spices is really good, and I don't even know, sometimes it might be a little too much spices for somebody, so in that case also you can add a little bit more tomato sauce.
Yes.
Okay, so at this stage you can decide if you want it more gravier like this, then you can pull it off, turn off the stove and use it over like warm rice. But if you like it a little thicker to use with the chapati or paratha, then you can make it a little more thicker. But ideally this is the right size, right gravy to put it over the rice. So I shut off the fire, pull it off the stove, because otherwise it becomes too thick as it sits.
Yep.
And then some people actually have, to bring it up, liven it a little bit, you can put fresh chopped cilantro, which is the fresh coriander, green leaves, rinse it off really well, and chop it up and sprinkle it on top, and then serve it with freshly cooked basmati rice and cucumber onion salad, and you are ready to go. And if it's too spicy, then you can always serve like a plain yogurt stirred on the side to cool it down.
Ta-da!
Shrimp masala.
Food video.
Do 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 do. Mini cooks.